Hello everyone, welcome back to my astrology channel. Today we're going to talk about Saturn in your house number 10. All right, so let's understand what is Saturn and then house number 10. What is Saturn? So Saturn is a karmic planet that wants to make sure that you're doing everything right, ethically, honestly. Otherwise you get punished. Simple. So Saturn is what? Saturn is delay. Saturn is hard work. It's discipline. It's persistence. It is Saturn is he's a fair elderly judge who walks with a limp. So Saturn wants you to treat everybody fairly. Do not judge anybody wrong. Treat the elderly with respect and the disabled people with respect. See, Saturn is an amazing planet if you think about it. Of course, it's going to throw obstructions in your path and hindrances in your path to test you, whether you're really who you maybe say on the outside you are. So you got to pass those tests. So that's what Saturn does. Saturn will test you by giving you shortcuts. Hey, you want to take those shortcuts or not, right? To test your patience. So now let's talk about house number 10. What is house number 10? House number 10 is Saturn's own house, okay, in the Kalpurush Kundali. Regardless of what sign is sitting here, the original owner in the Kalpurush Kundali, which as you can see, I've made it a Kalpurush Kundali, the original owner, the original sign is 10, which is Capricorn. So Saturn owns Capricorn. So Saturn sitting here, it feels comfortable, unless, you have some unfriendly signs, then it could get a little uncomfortable. But Saturn sitting here wants you to work hard for your job, okay? It wants to make sure your style of work is right. Now, if you put Rahu here, or if you put other influences of other malefic planets in here, so let's say Mars is aspecting it, etc., and Rahu is aspecting it or sitting here, now the style of your work could be wrong. You could go through and start deceiving people. You go through and start taking shortcuts in your work. You may not give credit to people when it's due. And then it comes back to bite you, and you will learn sort of the hard way. Most of the time, wherever Saturn sits, there's not a no, but there's always a delay. So you learn via hard way to do things right. So Saturn sitting here may cause delay in the type of work or in the work that you're doing. But at the end of the day, Saturn sitting here could make you a judge, a proper, fair judge eventually. Okay, so those are the things you have to see when Saturn's here in the 10th house. It could be one of the best placements there. So now let's talk about the third aspect of Saturn. That is going to be our house number 12. You can kind of see what I just said, right? I said Saturn sitting here could cause you to do things in a dishonest, unethical way, because Saturn is testing you on what you're going to do, what kind of karmas you're going to do in this lifetime, okay? If you don't do them right, you see that third aspect right away on the house of jail. House number 12 is a house of isolation, house of detachment, house of jail, house of hospitals, house of expenses, any kind of expenses. It is also the house of meditation, So if you don't do things right, you could land up in jail. So that's kind of where the third aspect is. You could see issues with, and feet, it also represents feet. So you could see issues with feet, with being at a hospital, working at a hospital, could be working at a hospital, but also could be in the hospital, expenses going crazy, jail, those kind of things. Being isolated basically from the society, you could perhaps see yourself, maybe you have a surgery and you're in the hospital, or you're at home in isolation. Wherever you end up being, the isolation is kind of the main component here. So now let's talk about, and it's also foreign settlement. Maybe whatever you do impacts you and you end up settling abroad. You move away from where you are. So that's a foreign settlement. Foreign settlement could be anywhere away from your home. Okay. The next aspect the Saturn in the 10th house is placing is on house 4. What is house 4? It's house of your mother, house of your family environment, your happiness. It is the house of your vehicles, your luxury, your home life, in your real estate, your accumulated real estate, your investment properties and things of that nature. So when Saturn places the aspect on the 4th house, it wants to make sure you treat that house with fairness, discipline, honesty, integrity, okay? If you don't treat that house with proper fairness, that house is not going to treat you back right. You're gonna face issues in that house. So if you don't treat your mother right, you're gonna face issues because of that. Maybe you're working so hard at your work, or you've moved abroad and your family back home is suffering. Your family environment could get messed up. Your happiness, your own happiness could get messed up. If you're no matter where you are, your happiness could get messed up because of the things that you've done. So that's all karma, if you can see. Your real estate, maybe you're trying to build a home wherever else, or in town, and you're just not able to build a proper home, perhaps you are not able to get the vehicles that you want to. You have issues with vehicles. So that's what that aspect is. You got to treat that house fairly and honestly. The next aspect is on your house number 7, which is the 10th aspect. Now, what happens with the 10th aspect is sometimes we don't think about it until we really start to notice that that house also needs our attention. Okay, so when it's house number 7, house 7 is a house of your spouse. It's a house of your life partner, but also your business partners, house of your business itself, and those types of things. So your entire life, maybe you're focused on work, maybe you're focused on, you moved away from home, you're doing those types of things. You're trying to invest in real estate, even though it's not been going well for you. But then you forget that there's a spouse there too, or there's a business partner there too, or even a business that you maybe need to work on. So eventually you start to pay attention to that. That is a part that will require a lot of your attention. You're going to work hard to bring that up. Okay, that's kind of the 10th aspect, because Saturn owns the 10th house in the Kalpurush Kundali. So it gets a 10th aspect. It's a very special aspect. No other planet has it. So then you have to lift that house up. Okay, now you're going to have to work hard on that house. But when you lift that house up, that house is going to give you the kind of status that you want in your life. So you can see perhaps here, you bring your spouse up, you treat the spouse right, and the spouse is going to give you that internal status, that internal fame that you so badly want with your spouse, and that could be wonderful for you. So if you have this placement, I would love to hear your comments, your statements. Please write them in the comments. And we do offer horoscope consultations, so please click on the link in the video description, and please do hit like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any updates or any of our new videos. And thank you so much for watching.